Hi, students. Happy Monday. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you had a great weekend and feel rested. And I hope that you really got a lot out of draft week. I was so encouraged by the way that I saw you all uh, just really encouraging one another and giving really good feedback. You really just did excellent work. I was so impressed with a lot of your essays, and especially some of you, I could really tell that you poured into it and you just really tried to create your best work. I wanted to start off this week by saying so I have three sections of English 111 for 16 weeks, and I finished two of your rough drafts, but one section, if you are in my D6L section, I have not quite gotten through you guys yet. This is Sunday night, and I am planning to have those completed by tomorrow. Please look at your announcements and read through them really carefully because I've made a couple changes in the schedule for that particular section. For the rest of you, your homework or your final draft of this is due on Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. And the submission link is in your week 4 weekly folder. So I want to just, after reading through these essays and really just digging through what some of the overarching issues that I saw were, I typed up a few things that I want to go over. And hopefully, by looking at this holistically, we'll be able to work through some of the kinks that I'm seeing. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is purpose and audience. We talked about this a lot week 1 and week 2, but I want to reiterate it. Remember your purpose. Guys, this is a eulogy essay. So, by the time that the reader gets done with your introduction, they should know what kind of work that they're reading. If you are writing in present tense, if you're just writing a story about your life, then you need to ask yourself how you need to frame this work differently to make sure that it reflects the purpose, which is a eulogy. You need to consider your audience or the people that will be in attendance. Um, Guys, this should feel personal. This shouldn't just be a life sequence or a timeline or telling what you did. Okay. You want to consider, what is this bigger message that you want your audience to walk away with? If you can't see that, if all you can see is this timeline of this is what they did, this is what they did, this is what they did, then you're missing the bigger picture. Okay. Remember, we're asking this question: who am I and who do I want to become? And the eulogy is part of that answer. The thesis statement. Your thesis statement should be in your introduction. It is the main message and purpose of the entire eulogy essay. Some of you are jumping right into the beginning details of your life. You're talking right about being a young girl or a young guy, or you're jumping into kind of a random detail. Um, the introduction should be someone who's introducing the eulogy. Consider, if you're at a funeral, what are those opening remarks? And again, what is this main message that you want your audience to walk away with? Paragraph formation. Many of you are not understanding true paragraph formation. A true paragraph is comprised of a couple things: topic sentence, explanatory sentences, and summative sentence. Okay. Now, a topic sentence is the main purpose and introduction to the totality of the body paragraph. A couple things that I'm seeing. So, for example, in that first body paragraph, some of you are using the sentence, Logan was born on August 24th, 1991 in Monroe, Louisiana. Well, that's not what that entire paragraph's going to be about, right? That's giving kind of a small detail of my childhood era, okay? Or some of you are automatically jumping into, Logan loved to ride horses. Okay. Again, that's a small detail. Your topic sentence should be this idea of the holistic paragraph. So let's say, for example, that my first paragraph is about my childhood. Maybe my topic sentence would be Logan's childhood consisted of some challenging moments, but overall, it was the time in her life that she realized the importance of family. Okay, so what that did is that really opened up that paragraph to tell a story, okay, to give you a glimpse into that part of my life. Your explanatory ideas, those are your examples, those are the details, those are all the ideas that you're talking about in that topic sentence, okay? It's what's proving that topic sentence. And then a summative, I meant to put summative sentence right here. Your summative sentence is a sentence that concludes the totality of that paragraph, okay? Basically, you're just summarizing what that paragraph was about. Some of you are either leaving with kind of a random detail, or you're trying to tell something new at the very end of the paragraph. That last sentence should summarize that paragraph for us. Guys, a full paragraph takes a minimum of 5 sentences. Okay. If you have paragraphs that are only 2 sentences, or 1 sentence, or even 3 sentences, really what that comes down to is that paragraph is not developed. Okay, you're lacking detail, you're lacking structure, you're lacking the development that you need to unpack for your reader. Focus. Remember to stay focused. Okay. Each paragraph needs to have a focal point, and each of those focal points should relate back to the thesis statement. Okay. And then when you break that down into paragraphs, what you're writing about in your explanation should line up with the topic sentence of that paragraph. And that's a great way to make sure that you're writing adequate topic sentences. Ask yourself, are my explanatory sentences, are my examples, are my details, do they relate to that topic sentence? And that kind of helps you understand either, oh, I'm going off track from this topic, or wow, my topic sentence really isn't strong enough, I need to revise that idea. Include personal touches. This kind of goes back to your audience, okay? Remember, the people that are there are people who know you. So if the only thing you're doing is kind of giving this chronological timeline, or all you're doing is talking about what you did, okay? That's just not enough. That's missing this depth, or this bigger message that a eulogy is supposed to be. Go deeper. Ask yourself what really matters, okay? Picture that these are the last words that might be said about your life to these people. So take the next step, go a little bit deeper. Organization and transition. Most of you kind of have some abrupt changes in your essays, okay? Maybe within a couple of sentences, you go from talking about your childhood to your 30 years old. A great question to ask yourself is, how do I share this portion of my life, and how do I transition to the next period of my life? If it feels abrupt to you, okay, if you're reading that paragraph and it's like, wow, I really tried to cram a lot into this one paragraph, then it really feels like that to your reader. Make sure that your paragraphs do not have too much life in one paragraph. For example, if you're talking about your childhood in a paragraph, your paragraph should not also include your college years. That needs to be separated out into a different paragraph. So organizational patterns do matter, okay? Really, as you're reading through that draft, look at each paragraph and go, okay, this is my introduction. This is body paragraph 1. What is this about? And you should be able to write 2 words, and it should capture that paragraph, and then do that for the next paragraph. And that kind of that gives you an idea. It helps you see if you're trying to do too much or tackle too much for just one simple body paragraph. Okay, your later years. A lot of your eulogies abruptly end at like 20 to 30 years old. Remember, the lectures and instructions previously have asked you to consider your life until you're 90. Okay. I'm asking you to look into the future and ask yourself, who do you want to be? What do you want said about you 50 years from now? number one, it's part of these instructions for this eulogy essay. But number two, we're going to be writing kind of a reflective cause and effect essay later on in the semester, when you're going to have to look back at this eulogy and ask yourself what you wrote about these later years. Okay, so make sure that you're not abruptly ending the eulogy as if it were tomorrow. Okay. Read aloud. I cannot express how important this is. Read your essay out loud. This is a great way to catch small mistakes, such as missing words, fragmented sentences, places where you need a comma, places where you should have completed the sentence, and instead of continuing, you should have put a period there. Read your essay out loud at least 3 times. And guys, that's minimum, okay? A lot of you just have sentences that are kind of jumbly, or they're awkwardly worded. If I made a note that said, hey, this is awkward wording, or maybe there's too many words and it's not concise enough. A lot of those things can be fixed simply by reading it out loud and asking yourself, how can I word this differently? Excuse me. Okay, MLA format. Please review MLA format. Some of you have some really wonky stuff going on. You've either got it centered, or your margins are incorrect, or you're missing headers. Many of you are making simple mistakes with your formatting that just need to be adjusted. Indent each paragraph, double space, ensure your headers are correct. You should have 2 headers, one within your paper that has your name, my name, the course name, and the date. And then you should have a top right header that's on every single page with your last name and page number. And then make sure you're writing in Times New Roman. No funky fonts, especially like chalkboard and some of those other crazy things. Okay, compound sentences. This is a very small mechanical issue, but I do want to show you because it seems like a lot of you maybe just don't know this. So a compound sentence is a sentence that is complete on both sides of a conjunction. And what I mean by conjunction, that's and, because, or, if. So let me give you an example here. So I went to the store and I also went to my mom's house to take her some flowers. So if you look at this, this is a complete sentence. I went to the store. I also went to my mom's house to take her some flowers. And you can see there's this conjunction here, and what I need is a comma before that conjunction to show that that's a compound sentence. Notice that both sides of the conjunction are complete sentences. You need a comma before that conjunction to make it a compound sentence. Another small editing thing, if you are using a number that's less than 100, those words need to be spelled out. And then the last thing that I wanted to drive home is this idea of word choice, okay? Be very clear in your language. Don't force the reader to second guess themselves. When you're using words such as it, things, that just doesn't give a whole lot of clarity, okay? So make sure that the words you're choosing are words that your reader totally understands what you're saying, that they're not having to go back and go, okay, what was she referencing? Use names, use titles of people instead of using pronouns that maybe are confusing. Try really hard to be clear and concise. Guys, again, these are just a few things that I noticed that I wanted to drive back home. Go back over this. After reading this lecture, go over your essay and ask yourself, what did I do in my own essay, or what key words did Mr. Dupree use in my comments that I need to double check and see what I need to do. I also want to show you all, and let me minimize this. I want to show you how you need to check your rough drafts. So I'm just going to use one of my students as an example. So let me make sure I'm still okay. If you take a look, so this is your discussion board, the one that you just completed your rough draft and your peer review tonight with, okay? So I'm just going to use Morgan Chapman as an example. If you click on where I have left her response, And I said, Morgan, great work. Please see my feedback as you attach this document. If you click on that and you pull it up, what I want you to notice, and let me make sure I'm sharing the correct screen. Great. What I want you to notice is I kind of give this holistic, a couple sentences here for a holistic review, but then I go through and give you comments on this side of your page for you to go over as I'm reading that particular paragraph, okay? Guys, if you have a Chromebook, this might not show up for you. Okay, I'm not sure why. That's part of why on the syllabus that it says that Chromebook's not always compatible with Mac and some of the software, or excuse me, not Mac, but Blackboard and some of the software. So make sure every single person will have comments on the side of their paper where I've reviewed through the paragraph. So make sure that you can see those comments, okay? If you can't, try a computer that is not a Chromebook. If you still cannot, contact me and let's get something figured out. So again, please remember this essay is due on Wednesday. Unless you are in my D6L section, and look for an announcement that is coming about that. I hope this was helpful. If you would like to meet with me, or if you have any questions as you're finishing up that essay and just revising and editing and putting the finishing touches on it, please let me know. And I'd be glad to meet with you, talk through your comments, or answer any questions that you have.